All right, so check this out. I've been a little stressed about what to do this wiring thing, but I got to do it. So I think this is going to be tedious, time-consuming, but if it looks like it's supposed to look, it's going to be pretty sweet. I was doing some more research, and I saw a guy using this, I guess, cardboard ring. And when I saw his video, you can look him up. It's a pretty sweet-looking helmet. I think you can search like Ultimate Marshmello Helmet or something. And I was watching him do it, and that's where I got this idea of this cardboard insert. And then, but when and Matt props to him, I mean, it looks great. But when he's doing the video at the end to show you how it looks, sort of the completed project, you'll notice he doesn't turn around. He didn't show the back. And I was like, why isn't he turning around? I don't know, what's up with that? And so I kind of backed into his video and saw when he had this insert slid in, and there was a picture kind of showing a very rough idea of how he's got this thing wired up. And he's got a whole bunch of AA batteries, which was my first, that was my first idea to do that. And when I saw, but then in the picture, I could see the back of the helmet and the cardboard had this gap. It was like maybe a half inch, maybe even an inch gap. And I'm like, oh, that's what he did. And so he did exactly like I did in the last video. He's taking the cardboard insert and he slided it in, and he doesn't even put the ring, this ring around the bottom. He doesn't do this. So I'm like, well, what's going on here? And then I realized he didn't turn around because there's probably this big crease in the back where the LEDs don't match up. They don't connect. It's not sort of a continuous flow in the back of the helmet. So then I was kind of ticked off of myself because I was like, oh man, I don't want that because I want I want the lights to go all the way around. So then I was watching some other videos and some people that made some that are, I was just kind of looking at them and it looked like they were, I'm assuming, hot gluing the LEDs on the inside of the actual helmet. I'm assuming they're using clear, and they're just putting them in there, and then they're getting in there, and they're soldering them, line by line, and but that way you can make sure there's no gaps, there's no seams going all the way around. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to have this gap in the back, and I was thinking, well, if I pushed it together, would it look good? But then I was like, you might just see like a line where the LEDs don't line up all the way, and I don't want that. So I spent a lot of time putting these, I don't know how long it took me to put all these on here, but put them on this, and they're already to size, so that's not a complete waste. But then I was thinking, well, how am I going to mount the battery pack to the inside of this? And what happens when I put the helmet in there? I don't want the helmet and the battery pack like glued or stuck to the back side of these LEDs, because if I'm moving around or whatever, it might pull them free. So I'm like, okay, so the cardboard insert probably still needs to be in use after all the LEDs are in. Slide it in there, lock it in, which locks all the LEDs in, and then I can mount the battery pack to the inner lining of this, kind of like my original plan. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take these off one by row and set them in there, and as I put one in, because I've already cut them, unfortunately, then I'll have to go back and I'm gonna solder each individual one to get them to go back. I mean, I'd have to solder them anyway to jump the lines, to jump each row. So that's what I'll let you know. That's what I'm getting ready to do, and let's do this. So check it out. So I'm taking this wire. Man, this is a pain. I'm videotaping. This is a pain. So what I'm doing to line everything up is I'm taping the lead that's in here connected, and I'm using super glue. Not super glue. I'm using glue gun, and I'm putting the glue between each one of these, like right here where the 3 copper spots are. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just going dot, 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 all the way around and gluing it. And as you can see, I mean, you can see it's working good. And you got to make sure you turn the lights on so everything looks lined up. I mean, that's fairly close. When you're going around, that crease right there is when I dropped the dang thing that I mentioned in one of those last videos. So don't drop it. But it looks good. But yeah, so because this, I've never soldered before. Maybe there's an easier way, but what I'm doing is I'm taping this side so it doesn't move, and I'm putting the wires like right on top of the copper spot, and then I'm holding it right there, and I'm taking the soldering iron, wherever it is here, and I stick it like right on. I can't do it holding the camera, but I stick it like right where these two are touching. Then I take the solder and I just tap it until it melts. You can look up other YouTube videos on exactly how to do it, and then I kind of pull it away. And obviously you don't want the solder to touch both connections, or it'll obviously it won't work. But then when you're actually soldering in the connection, I just wouldn't have. It probably doesn't matter because it's only 5 volts, but I'm not having it turned on. I'm turning the lights off between that. So that's what I'm doing. On the back side of this, I'm doing the solder on the back side. My fingers are all jacked up. But I'm doing my soldering on the back side. Make sure you remove the sticky part. But what I would not do is remove the sticky adhesive. I mean, it's kind of a pain. It's really kind of a pain because your fingers you're trying to press these in here and your fingers are sticking to it, whatever. But needless to say, when you go to doing soldering, take off this little backside sticky stuff, because you're gonna need that to be gone so you can get the soldering nice and tight. Just want to make sure you're aware of that when you get ready to do it.